There are so many good recipes for sugar cookies. I really like this recipe because you can decorate it or eat it plain. However you like your sugar cookie, you're going to love this recipe. It is so easy to do and not a lot of ingredients. After you preheat that oven, you're going to put some salt and baking soda to your flour, and you're going to mix it until it's thoroughly combined. This would take so much less time if I would have just used a bigger bowl. You want to set this aside, and now we're going to cream together our butter and our sugar. The beautiful thing about this recipe is you can use butter, margarine, or shortening. You just want to make sure it is at room temperature and soft to the touch when you start to beat it. I do recommend you use white sugar here. I normally say you could substitute sugar, and you could for this recipe, but the white sugar gives it that real nice light white color at the end for decoration. So go ahead and splurge and use that really not so healthy for you white sugar. The next thing you want to do is add in your egg, and you want to beat it until it's nice and smooth. At first it'll look like it's curdling, but then it will start to come together and it will eventually look like this. Next, you want to add in your vanilla. If you wanted to change the recipe somewhat, try some orange oil or some lemon, and you can get a really nice sugar cookie with a nice little citrus flavor at the end. And then I'm just going to pour in that flour mixture, and I'm going to beat this until it starts to come together and is a real nice stiff dough. Once your dough looks just like this, you're ready for the next step. If you like, you could refrigerate this overnight and let the flavors develop, or you can just go ahead and start working with the dough. If it is too soft, go ahead and chill it for about 20 minutes. You want to be able to roll this into a ball. So if it's sticking to your hands, just chill it down for just a little while. Next, if you want to decorate them, you're just going to roll them around into the sugar. And I'm going to show you two methods of how to do this. You can just pour it into a bowl like I'm doing right here. And I find this is kind of tedious and takes a lot of time, and you're handling the dough a lot, which will make it heat up. It could make the cookies a little greasy. So I recommend getting some plastic baggies, filling it up with your sugar, and then just tossing the ball of dough in it like so. The best part of doing it this way is you don't make a ton of a mess, and you can also have your kids help you with it, and it's a real fun project to do. And I just find that it's easier cleanup. And plus, if you want to reuse this sugar, you can store it in the refrigerator since it did touch some dough, and use it later on for more batches of cookies. Now, one thing I would mention now that I had started doing this, and I haven't done this in a long time, is start with the lighter colors first and then work your way up to the darker colors. And the only reason why you want to do this is because you'll get some of the food coloring on your hands. And if you do that, then you're going to just transfer it to the other color. Now you can press down with either the back of a spoon, a hand, a spatula. I use my fingers a lot of times, but you're going to have to wipe off your hands in between colors, or you're going to transfer some of the color over to the cookies. And I did that, and if you do, it's not a big deal. They are homemade, but it makes a huge mess, and do prepare to clean up if you're using your hands. I do recommend using a glass or a spatula for this point, but I just thought I would just show you what happens if you use your hands. You want to bake these 10 to 14 minutes or until the edges are slightly golden brown. Now, if you want them a crinklier cookie, increase that temperature 25 degrees Fahrenheit or about 4 degrees Celsius and bake for about 8 to 10 minutes, and that'll give you a nice crispy look. Here are some of the ones that are plain, and here are the ones that are collared. Now, as they sit, they will crinkle up a little bit, but not as much as if you increase that temperature. You want to let them sit for 2 to 3 minutes before you remove them to finish cooling. You can color sugar for yourself. I can show you that recipe in a link below as well at the end of this video. It's very easy to do. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Here are your ingredients if you want to follow along. Thank you for visiting jacksonsjob.com, and as always, happy baking.